Hi everyone, it's week 10 and it's all about revision this week. Everything we're going to do for this week and next week is about making the best AMS that you can. I have a couple things here to help you do that. You have an assignment here. It's the final discussion forum. There's 3 parts to it when you click on it. I call it the Kanyo 3-step. You need to first describe what makes a good synthesis paragraph. Because your final essay is a synthesis essay and at least 2 of your paragraphs have to be solid, amazing, wonderful synthesis paragraphs. This is one of our last steps to making sure you have it down. It says, what does it need? How would it look? So that's step 1. Step 2 is, if you're trying to teach this to somebody who had never taught it before, and I'm looking for tips here, man, but if you're trying to teach it to somebody who's never done it before, what would you tell them to make sure they had? What would you tell them they needed to do? How would you teach it to them? And then 3, make sure you post your best so far synthesis paragraph. I don't care what it's from, something that you wrote that you think exemplifies a really strong, good synthesis paragraph. Now, I strongly suggest you look at each other's. I really do, especially if you're struggling at this. Look to see what other people thought were the best. Look to see how they would teach you. And if you've got this down, if you're solid, if you're great, please go and look at your classmates to help some of them that might not have it down so strong. That's up to you. I'm going to grade all of your forums after this due date. So after Tuesday at 6 p.m., probably on Wednesday, I'll grade all the forums and have that posted. If not, it'll be Thursday. The other thing for this week that's helping you with the final paper is our peer review workshop. It's due by Wednesday, you see here. Your best draft of your paper so far, your most revised one. You still need 3 questions. Then you post your paper. You need to reply to your classmates by Friday, Saturday. Make sure it's by Saturday at least at the latest. But the sooner you do it, it's for them. The sooner you give them feedback, the sooner they can start revising. So please get this up. As long as you put your questions up, you put your paper up, and you reply to 2 people's, you get full credit. So these are free points at the end of the semester, and they're designed to help you get a better paper. So these 2 things will help you get a better paper. You can turn it in to me again next Sunday. Remember, 48 hours for every time you submit it to me from now on, whether it's email or one of these. And I will get you back some feedback each time. You can go up here. You can look at this checklist. It's meant to help you out. It has a whole bunch of questions, so you can start thinking about it. You should know the answers by now, at least I'm hoping. So it says in your introduction, does your introduction take into consideration your audience are English professors? Meaning, first, is it grammatically correct? Are you using some jargon that they would respect? Do you remember that they're teachers and they care about individual students? All these questions will help you with your critical reflection coming up too. It'd be worthwhile to do this. How and why does the opening suit that audience? Is it specific? Because they hate generalities. So if you use a personal narrative intro, that will suit them because if they're teachers, they should care about individual students, right? Does it show that you have the skills to transition from first person to third person? That would make English professors happy. Answer those questions. Is there some acknowledgement or explanation of how complex this issue is? In other words, do you have exceptions, deep thinking, bridge to bias? If you've just done your personal story, acknowledge not everybody is like you. Acknowledge there are people all over at the ends of the spectrum. Give that a sentence or 2 before you get to that thesis, because that's going to help your thinking. Does it have a thesis statement? I hate to be the reminder, a question is not a thesis statement. What is the one problem, the one complex thing? Is it in that sentence? Do we know positively what the one thing is that you're going to be focusing on? And remember that one thing, that one word or phrase, can then be a mile marker, and it should be in every single body paragraph. So, see, this question asks us about that too. Okay, in the body. How many body paragraphs do you have? I still have a student or 2 out there that are giving me 2 or 3 body paragraphs. Now, the minimum is 4. If you're going to get a passing grade from me, you have to have at least 4 body paragraphs. It's been that way since you wrote your first essay for me back in week 4. You need 4 body paragraphs, minimum. Sorry, there's a bug here. How many sources do you allow to speak? Speaking means you've quoted them. How many different sources have you quoted? Does that provide a diverse enough spectrum? Okay, 2 sources. That's either or. That's just 2. 2 is not enough. 3 can be enough if you do it perfectly and everybody gets to talk 2 or 3 times and you pick the best 3 sources out there in the world. It's probably going to take 4 or 5. If you go over 5, you need to think about it too, because that might be too much. How many times, next question, how many times does each source speak? Are you making sure that each source's name comes up multiple times? You don't want to use them once in one paragraph and forget about them. So, for example, if you use 4 sources, 3 of them better be used at least twice. How many quotes are actually in your essay? Is it enough to create a dialogue? Is it too much to balance with your voice? How many quotes do you think is minimum or maximum? And I say this is an important thing to discuss. I'd love you to text me, come in, talk to me about it. But there is a balance you have to be striking. You also don't want to be too formulaic. So sometimes you let a source talk twice in the same paragraph, the same source, and then the other one talk once. So some paragraphs might have 3 quotes. Some of them might have 3 different people in them, so they'd have 3 quotes. Figure out how much is the right amount, and how are you going to avoid that formula-looking thing. You do not want 2, 2, 2, 2. That's a formula. Maybe you want 2, 1, 3, 2. Maybe you want 3, 2, 2, 1. I don't know, but you want it to be clear that you can do more than just the minimum 2, 2, 2, 2 that you're supposed to do week 2 in this class. So be working on that. Where can the reader see your deep, significant, recognizable thinking happen? Usually that's beginning of paragraphs. It's when you go after a source, meaning you start critically attacking, critically engaging, critically looking at a source and how those ideas relate to yours. Where can I see diverse opinions? You need at least 2 places in your paper. We've practiced that the last 2 synthesis paragraph assignments. Whenever you do your 3 to 8 sentences, you're supposed to start with differences. That's a diverse opinion. Which sources do you synthesize? Name them where. Is it too late? Look, if it's page 3 or 4 before you have any synthesis, it's too late. Do you go deep enough? Do you just say, they both point out this? That's not deep enough. 3 to 8 sentences, differences first. Do you have at least 2 separate paragraphs with source-to-source synthesis that address differences? Well, I put that one right out there. Please, remember this is here. It can be useful to you. Let me try to get it off here now. Okay, next up, you can go back to last week and look at, actually the week before. If you look at week 8, there's a whole lot of stuff there for you. If you never watched the problematizing video, I weep, but it's there for you. Please see the sample introductions. You start with a story. You need that bridge. You need to get to a solid thesis. Here are some sample synthesis paragraphs. One of the reasons these are good, I'm waiting for it to pop up. One of the reasons they're good is it has feedback on there. This is pointing out, this emphasizes a difference a bit. It points out the synthesis in the discussion. Here's more emphasis on the difference. Differences are being emphasized. If you haven't looked at them, I would. I mean, I would, but obviously I would. I'd put them up there. If you haven't looked at the traits for a strong and weak synthesis, please do that. I went over it one other time in another video, so I won't bore you with that. And if you're looking at the sample, start with the bottom one. All right, so that is week 10. It's all about revision. Lots of materials up there for you. That's not the only materials I have. I'm hoping you're sending me drafts every other day or every third day. I want to give feedback to you. I want to help you out. I have other materials for you that if you send me stuff and it looks like it fit for you, I will send it to you. I won't know unless you send it to me. Okay, good work. Remember the WRC. You can do it online or you can do it in person. Remember I'm here. Remember your classmates are there. If you go up to participants, you know who's doing the reading, who's doing the thinking, who has good papers. You can send them a nice email and attach your draft to it. That's up to you. Be self-directed this week. Okay, contact me when you need me.